Black and brown people don't join the military. That is what this Instagram user is saying. This is the video I ran across. Hi and welcome. If you are new here, we talk about difficult topics, tough talks, things that people aren't really talking about, or things that aren't being said from a truth biblical perspective. If that sounds like something that you're interested in, let's talk. Okay, so I ran across this post on Instagram and I was just curious as to what this woman had to say because I have a lot of family in the armed forces. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and play the video.
One thing I don't like that y'all do, especially the people that never in their life serve, is tell black and brown children not to join the military. First off, we get racism exists. Racism is embedded in every single thing. You can have a racist manager at Taco Bell. It could be racist people at Pizza Hut if you want to work at Taco Bell or Pizza Hut. But to say the military is racist, don't join, come on now. You better use these benefits. I feel like the military is the greatest stepping stone. Even if you don't want to do 20 years, this is the best stepping stone, especially for black or brown children. Because 8 out of 10 times, we're the people that's not born into generational wealth. We don't have a 400 head start like everybody else. So that means we need to use these benefits the most. Get your school paid for, get a GI Bill, get a VA home loan. And for you to tell black and brown children not to join because the military is racist or something, you're cheating them at the best opportunity of their lives. This could be the greatest blessing that can happen to a black or brown child. Join. One thing I don't like that y'all do, especially.
So I'm gonna let you know my thought, and I would love to know yours. But there was a few things that I like, especially the beginning of the videos. I kind of see where she was coming from, and then there was like kind of agreed with, and then for the majority, it was a hard no. So the military has been something that I do not favor the military of this country, of any of these countries, okay? They act like they're separate governments. They all play for one accord, one team, and that is the opposition. I've always had a disdain for the whole situation as that includes colleges. I think college is such a scam. Why is it $200,000, $20,000 a semester for to learn something? It's a clear setup. Okay, people don't make that much money. But anyway, that's a whole nother video. The first point I want us to point out is the racism. Yes, there's racism across all boards. Okay, I've experienced racism straight up in your face, the N word with a hard R, to the subtle racism and the calm, soft racism in TV shows and at jobs in general, right? But the military hits different because you're putting yourself in a situation where they do a lot of brainwashing, okay? They do a lot of conditioning. So it's a different type of vibe. Yes, you could say, and I've seen it with jobs and whatnot, saying that the 9 to 5 is conditioning as well. Yes, it most definitely is. Going in, clocking in, having to report to your manager for everything. All of it is a setup. But there's a video that I had reacted to earlier on in my YouTube journey about the situations I can't really talk about, but it's the medical sword where people were doing the okey pokey era. That clip that you just saw was a bunch of I can't breathe.
This is a soldier in the military. Look at this, Rob. Look at this. Look at this. Stop resisting. I need a handcuff right now. I'm going for his left arm. Stop resisting! Stop resisting! You will get tagged! You will get tagged! Wait. Stop resisting or you will get tagged!
I can't breathe.
Yeah. Dude, how's he breathing down there? Look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people.
No.
That's good. But when you see something like that, General, that kid, that guy, signed up to serve And if they're doing that to their own, you know how easily these people will turn on us if they're called upon.
Okay. And that was during the, thing that happened 5 years ago. Okay. And there was a clip of like these people in the army who were like a group jumped this one guy who said, and it could have been a skit, but it looked real. Okay, it looked real. Basically holding on to this guy because he did not want to get the okey pokey, and they like straight up forced him. They're also the one of the first people to, whenever there's a mandate or whatever the case is, the army. Okay, the army. And that's what happened 5 years ago. Now, of course, you need to put your foot down and say no, but the next rollout of things that are detrimental, because the mark of the beast wasn't what happened 5 years ago. That was a test, a precursor to what is to come. When they roll out and the chip is already here, the army is going to be one of the first places. They're already doing it. There are people in the army that have already gotten the mark of the beast and don't even know that they've sealed their fate and it's destroyed. That's It's nothing to laugh about, of course. It's tragic, but you laugh because you keep from crying. It's like it's unreal. And then there's another thing that she said that kind of irritated me, like, oh, this is the best opportunity that some people have. If this is the best opportunity that you're gonna have in your life, that's really sucky. Now, I'm not saying that the people that fight in the army, the people that go train in the army and do X, Y, and Z don't have valor, okay? Aren't men and women of valor, okay? But the men are the ones that are, going to would be out in the field and X, Y, and Z working for this system. Like eventually, like these jobs, I tell you, these jobs, if you have a 9 to 5, or if you have something that is you're doing it legally to make you money, of course, use it as a stepping stone. Okay. I'm not saying that you can't use the army as a stepping stone. I'm not saying that there isn't a way to to cunningly use them, get in and get out. But there are some things that you have to know when it comes to the army. For example, if you sign those papers, they essentially label you as their property. Okay. And to the point where if you've ever heard of someone getting incarcerated and serving life sentences with an S plural, then you probably have heard, well, they'll own your body. They'll bury you at the jail, which they do. Okay, they literally will. You give somebody multiple life sentences, that's 100 plus years. Like, do you think they're about to live all those hundreds of years? You'd think that they just let them go, but no. That's like the army, like not the same exact scenario, but essentially something happens, God forbid, they really like can make certain rules and make certain movements and hold on to your body and whatnot. And it's just like really like this system is already mentally enslaving people enough, but you should know what you're getting into before you go into army. Now, I have family in the army, but I don't know all the details. They can't talk about everything. And, I'm just going based off of what I've heard from family members, but it does do something to you. They create systems where they give you a cookie and every time you listen or you be a good compliant soldier, a good soldier, you know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that it hasn't taught people discipline and people that are out on the street, especially black people, like copper tone people, like, because we're not even like, especially black people, bronze people, fellow copper counterparts, we like definitely can benefit from having discipline, having structure and order. But as we go further into these end times, I really feel like it's important to try to get out of these systems now and to move towards creating our own. So that's just my thoughts on the topic. I just want to see what the comments have to say. I've been out of the Navy since 2013. The military is still benefiting me. Yeah, I had a Lyft driver who said he was getting paid retirement. I think he was like 30 at the time, and I don't know if it was like 10,000 a month, but I think it was disability. I'm not saying that's the number, and that shouldn't be the complete deciding factor for you, but we going in some weird times where we go closer and closer to end times. Me personally, I don't recommend enlisting right now. I Makasia, I agree. Navy veteran of 9 years, the best decision of my life with no regrets. I've met 4 Black millionaires in my life. All 4 of them retired from the military and did real estate, medical care, government. Have indeed ran. I'm set for the rest of my life. Nope, the issue is deeper than that. It's about color. I respect people's opinions, but I'm not signing my life over for benefits. I can work for myself, which is true. We was not put on earth to serve a greedy country. That's how I feel. The part you not telling is the minute something goes left, you're going to war. Now ask yourself, of the people that's in for benefits, is that something you really want to do? Stop following the system and build your own is all I'm saying. Yes, it will take time, but the reward will be worth it all. Like that's what I'm trying to say. Like back then or whatever case, but how would you have known? Because I had this old coworker who said, come join the army. And I'm like, Dad, like what if something happens or whatever the case is? And a lot of people don't understand, and a lot of people, when the thing that happened 5 years ago medically, a lot of army, people in the army were getting like took the okey pokey because you know what I'm saying? They were afraid when you didn't have to. Most High gave us free will. And once you know the truth, you become unstoppable because none of these entities have anything on the God that we serve. The God of Israel, you feel me? And there definitely were people in the army who did not, and they were threatened to be discharged dishonorably too, I think. And they called their bluff. Like, they're still in the army. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, y'all really have to think, like, these people use biological, mental warfare on you, and our mind is a powerful thing. But that's all I really had to say about this video. It's up to you. Obviously, your decision, take it to God. But I personally have always felt this way, and it's just the truth. Like, we need to stop enhancing these people's systems because look what's going on with the National Guard, with Trump and everything. Like, people, those are the people that, oh, I'm in it for the benefits. They're showing up at your front doorstep. You know what I'm saying? And eventually it's going to get worse to where you're not allowed to do this, curfew that. You're not allowed to have this opinion and that opinion because Trump is going after the First Amendment. So it's like, yeah, you're doing it for the benefits, but that's we like can people like wake up now and realize what's going on? But the Bible already tells us what's gonna go down. And speaking of the Bible, pick up your Bible. King James Version is the one that I recommend. Of course, seek the Most High. Okay, that is His word. But actually create a relationship with Him beyond the pages. Like He's real. Okay, like He's real. But with that being said, I also have a book out, Melanated and Expecting. If you want to check it out, the link will be in the description. It is basically about things that if I had known before becoming a mother, would have avoided a lot of different consequences. But it could have been worse, and God truly blessed and protected us. But stay sober minded on these spiritual streets. Peace.